In addition to being able to style any entity in your Insight Maker model, for any of the primitives, including the folder, you can overlay an image on it. Now there are internal images, so that if you right click on this and say use picture, there are you can tell it you want no image, you want a custom image or a built-in image, and there are a whole set of built-in images that you might use, though there's a limited number of images. I mean, there's only so many that you can build into the application. And when you do this, notice that this now has the title of this image inside of it, and really you want to go ahead and tell it to align this so that it puts the image or the text at the bottom of the image. Now, so I said there are a number of built-in images. You can also select those from the style menu over here and select and change any with any one of the images. Though there are sort of an uncountable number of images that you might use, they're just not in Insight Maker. And the way that you can find those, if I go to Chrome and I simply search for money and then click on images, I have sort of an endless array of images for money. If I then click on this, it tells me, and then I want to look at the image. Here is the URL for that image. So if I simply copy it, go back here and tell this that I want to use a custom image and paste that URL in, I then get a picture of money. You can do that with any of the images. You just want to make sure that the URL that you find is some orderly URL pointing to a JPEG or a GIF or a PNG, as opposed to, from time to time, I find images in Google which are pointing to some crazy references that are cached or something, like this one. I would not want to use this URL, but I would use this one. So I mean, it takes finding a URL that is orderly, and you can go ahead and then replace it. So if I say resources, what do I come up with for resources? Well, let's call it, let's say people for okay. Here's one that I could use for resources. Go ahead and take this image and put it back on here for resources. So I then have a picture of resources. And the thing is that if you use images in your model, it makes it much easier to convey a meaning as opposed to simply using the text. I mean, the text is often informative, though not nearly as informative as a picture might be. And here again is this problem with the alignment of the text. And I'll go ahead and put the text on top of this one now, so the resource is up there. And you don't actually have to have the text at all. You could simply use the picture. Though, as I think I've indicated before, it's often extremely beneficial to go ahead and add notes to your elements of your model so that other people could have a basis for better understanding of what it was that you were thinking when you created that model. So just there are a lot of options in terms of how you go ahead and style the model to make it more understandable by others in a readily understandable manner. Now, the difficulty that you run into is that if you reference images such as this, which are out on the web, you're sort of at the mercy of whoever owns this web page and has this image, because if they delete this image, the next time you open this model, the image won't be there. It'll just show that it's broken. So in the next lecture, I'll go ahead and introduce you to a web-based utility which we found called Cloudinary, which is really good at managing images, so that when you find images, you can put them in Cloudinary and then put your Cloudinary references in your model, and you'll never have to worry about broken links to images. So hope you found this informative, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.